Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Granucci and I'm going to be your instructor for Physics 110 Lab. In this video I'm going to go over the syllabus and talk a little bit about the course and give you some details. And then beginning next week you'll start seeing the course kind of more laid out and fleshed out for you so you can get more information. So this whole course will be online. Typically I would teach this in a lab setting. So fun fact that I am creating all the labs to translate online. So although unfortunately, being in person is probably the best way to do these labs. Most of them are going to be designed with some lab simulations or even at home labs that you can do that are safe at home that you can do. Don't worry, they're nothing dangerous. Most of them are pretty simple labs that you can do at home. But I wanted to give you some personal and real experience with some of these labs if it allows for it and it can be safely done. So you'll see a little bit about that when we go through. So the way the course is going to be laid out, of course, is all going to be online. What I'm going to do is you'll have 2 labs a week to complete. They'll be in the module section on your Blackboard account. I'm not going to go navigate through everything because I think for the most part you can navigate most of it. But if you look on the Blackboard account, you'll notice a bunch of things there, including the thing that says weekly modules, and including where you probably found this. This is the preview week. You're going to see that you'll have 2 labs due a week where I'll give a pre-lab video. So I'll do one of these to discuss what the lab is about and how to do it, how to use the simulation program or to set up your lab, whatever case you need. You'll have a lab handout where it tells you the directions and questions. And then you have the lab data sheet. So those are 2 different things. The data sheet is what you're going to submit to me because I don't want everything in the lab. I don't need the introduction and all that stuff because I wrote it. But I do want your data and I do want your calculations. So it's a separate sheet that you're going to turn in to me. Now you can, since this is online, you can do it at your own pace. So I kind of wanted you to have that ability to do that. So you can complete them 2 in a day, take a day or 2 to do them a piece, but they'll be due the following week. So you have a full week to do 2 labs. So hopefully you'll find the time to do it, which I assume you will, at your own pace, the way you want it, handle it for the most part. And then the cycle will start again, for the next 2 labs. Now, in addition to labs, you're going to have lab quizzes. So typically we do pre-labs, but since this is like an asynchronous course, I think it's just a lot easier to do it after the fact instead of before the fact. So your lab quiz will be super brief. It's just going to be a multiple choice question and maybe a short answer question through the Blackboard grading system, where it just kind of makes sure that you were able to kind of get the main point of the lab and kind of get through this. So ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to do the lab and take a brief quiz after the lab. So lab quiz. So your labs are 70% of the grade and your lab quizzes are 30% of the grade. So they're not heavily weighted, but the whole point is to make sure that you understand the lab and of course seek out questions or help. Just know that you don't have to take the lab quiz immediately. Like if there are questions in the lab, we can set up some time to talk about it. So that's kind of the idea of the course. So just to be very clear, just to summarize again and be repetitive, this will be asynchronous. You're going to do them in 2 weeks. And then we'll start, next week we'll have another 2 labs. This is how it's going to go. Although the course is asynchronous, I think communication is incredibly important. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a weekly check-in. So what I'll do is I schedule it for Mondays at 9 a.m. If that needs to change, that's totally fine. My physics class lecture will be 10 a.m. So I kind of did that on purpose and, gets us out of bed. I know I need a little schedule. So that's why I did it like that. But that is just me coming in, checking in, asking, if anybody has any questions, you want to go over anything. I'll kind of preview the first, the week's lab anyway with all of you present. And it's just a really nice way to connect to people. So I'll do that as well. I also have office hours Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. You'll notice in the Blackboard account, you'll see on the side that it will say weekly conferencing and office hours. And I'll have links in there for you so you can just click on the link and you don't have to do anything in terms of like finding it or something like that. So hopefully everything is very streamlined for you. Let me take a look at the syllabus. So, of course, all the labs are due in time. But I know that, a lot of people are struggling right now with many different things. I'll tell you personally that I'm struggling too. I'm a mom of 2 children who demand lots of my attention. So it's not the same as teaching normally. So I have a bigger load and it's hard. Sometimes I can do things and sometimes I physically can't. So because of that, I know that's, could be your case too. So, generally the labs are due every week. If you need an extension, just reach out. I'm happy to work with you because things are a lot more complicated now. That includes if you're sick as well. Just know that I just want you to freak out if you're super sick and you can't get to a computer and like, oh my gosh, my lab. I understand. I'll just tell you that. So as long as you're keeping in contact with me at some point and reaching out, that's the important part. But if you need an extension, just let me know, and I'm happy to work with you. I'd rather you ask and then not, turn in a lab at all. I will not accept any late labs, so there's no late penalty. It's there or it's not. So that's my policy. So if you need extension, just let me know, and I'll work around you. I talked about the quizzes and labs themselves. I'll grade all your labs online. I'll use a grading rubric. You can see it on the course syllabus and how I would grade it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have questions, just let me know. It's, weighted mostly in your understanding, but, making sure you have units, correct information, all that fun stuff. So you're welcome and encouraged to do your labs with a partner. If I found that working with somebody, it's easy to work by yourself because then you're on your own pace. You can do your own stuff. You just kind of work through it. But there is a benefit in working with somebody because then you can bounce your ideas off each other and kind of work things out. And if you have a question, maybe your lab partner can help. So you're welcome to work with lab partners via Zoom, Skype, whatever chat you use. But it is important to let me know that you are working with a partner so that when I look at your data, that I'm not questioning it. And of course, this is very obvious things, and I think you all know this, but I'm going to pretend that you don't, just to be on the same page. But if you do work with somebody or not, there is, of course, chances for plagiarism. So just know that you and your lab partner cannot have the same I'll say this, copying and pasting lab data. So if your tables look identical to your lab partners because you copied and pasted it, I am going to question that. Now, I know, yes, your lab data looks the same. Trust me, I've been doing this for 15 years. I know how to grade labs. The point is, I just don't want you copying and pasting it, especially on an online course. I want you to get the experience of doing these things, including your graphs. You have to make your own graphs. You can't copy and paste your graphs. You can't copy and paste each other's calculations. All of this is the same stuff. And your ideas. So you can't have the same sentences in your conclusions. And the same sounding sentences. So make them your own. I like to use the example is that we can all go see a movie, right? Let's see, I don't know, I was just talking to my daughter about Toy Story 2. We all go see Toy Story 2. We all really enjoy it. But if I asked you what you thought about it, you would actually have a slightly different opinion than somebody else because you might pick out some things versus others, even though you both had the same conversation about enjoying it. So same thing. What I'll do is if I find that something is too similar to one another, then I will go back and ask you to redo it. But if it's happened more than once, I will go to QU integrity and academic integrity, and I will file a complaint because honestly, it's not fair. It's not so much that I want to get you. I'm just looking out for those people that are working really hard to do their lab, and then you have one person that did little credit and they're getting the same grade. I just don't feel that's, well, it isn't right, literally. But I don't feel that's right. And that's why I do it. It's protection for all the other students, not so much that I want to get you. I hate doing it, actually. I've done it before because it's the right thing to do. So just keep that in mind. I'm not out to get you, but I am going to protect you and all the other students when you do your lab. So just know that. And if there's a question ever, like, is this too similar? Or what, should I change something? Just ask. It's very simple. I'm here to help. Online responsibility is just basically talking about making sure that things work. I know sometimes they don't work. So try not to do them last minute, because then I can really help you. And the rest of the stuff is here. I have your tentative lab scheduled. Now, this is my beautiful idea of what lab will be. I might have to change a lab or two just based on my what I have available. Now, most of this stuff I actually have labs for already, but a lot of them I am writing. And if I find that they're not they're not like coming together the way I see them, or they're not, just not good. Just flat out say they're not good. I might change one or two of these labs, but this is my course content. And like I said, I have experience with all of these simulations that I've used before in other classes. So yeah, so that's the course. There was one other thing I just wanted to talk about before I go. So I did talk about my struggles. So like I said, I'm a full-time mom and I have to take care of children during the day, which is actually very hard for me. I'm not gonna lie. So, and with that said, what I did is, I'm definitely going to be responsive to you. I want you to know that. And I put my email response hours, and I put them within 24 hours. I'll try to respond to your email. And the most common time that I'm going to respond to you is from 8 to 5, during the work day, if you will. At 5 to 9 o'clock, I'm on mom duty. It's my second job. I'm cooking dinner, cleaning my kids, putting them in baths, putting them in bed. By the time that happens, it's about 9 o'clock. And then I clean the kitchen, and then I need to sit down because I've just did all that stuff. So by the time I'm like free is usually around 10 o'clock. And I'm tired. So I'm not saying that you can't email me past 5 o'clock. I'm saying that the likelihood of me answering your email is very little. But I've definitely, because of that, I'm going to make sure that I spend the morning around 8 a.m. answering emails. And, if you don't see an response from me within 24 hours, feel free to just send it again, because my emails do get lost. It's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I literally get almost 25 emails a day, and I go through them and I try to make sure that I, click everybody. But, if I have everyone on the screen and you're underneath that screen area, I might miss you. And it's not. Please don't take it personally. But with that said, just please send an email again, and I guarantee I will get back to you. Just be patient with that. So, and the weekends are tough for me too, because again, I'm 100% mom duty. So, once again, I'm not saying you can't email me. I'm saying the likelihood of me responding is smaller during those times. So usually what I'll do is over the weekends, I'll spend Sunday evening dedicated to answering emails. So, if you want a response right away, if I'm at my computer, I will respond to you right away. It's usually my go-to. So that's what I mean by all that. So, if you're doing a lab at 11 o'clock at night and you ask me a question, I'm not getting back to you till 8 a.m. Just the reality. But I will. That's the point, is I will get back to you. Okay. I think that's most of the things that you really need to be aware of. You'll see things pop up as we go. And then the one other thing is I have a request that you do a post of introduction. So I'm so corny, and I know that, and I don't care. But I would love to see your faces. I know if you don't want to, or I get it. And if you don't want to show your house, it's fine. You don't have to do that. But I encourage you, if you're willing, to do a video introduction, kind of like how I'm doing it right here. Just tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background. I usually get to know you in the classroom, like the physical classroom. I like to ask you, what is your major? How's your day going? I don't have that. So I want, just a little bit about yourself. So I gave you a prompt, but, feel free to use it or not. You can kind of riff if you want, kind of like a little bit what I'm doing right now, if you will. So because I asked you for an introduction, I'll go ahead and do my introduction. So obviously I'm your course instructor. I've been teaching, like I said, for about 15 years now. So I've been teaching in all sorts of settings. I've taught, taught high school, public high school, private high school. I've taught at different colleges as adjunct, and now I'm officially full-time here at Quinnipiac. So I've been teaching quite some time in all physics, because I love it, because physics is great. So I majored in physics, I majored in education, so a master's in education, and then I went back for physics again because physics is great. Although my concentration is in astronomy. So I did a lot of astronomy research. I took some really cool pictures of Jupiter. They were really awesome, and some Mars, and some globular clusters. So I did a lot of research in image resolution, making sure that when you take your images that they're of high quality. Of course, there's a lot more to what what I did than that. The mathematics and I did a lot of coding and mathematics to make that happen. But that's ultimately what I did. Let's see, what else about me? As you know, I'm a full-time mom, so you'll see my kids because I can't control them. they'll actually either come in, or my daughter will just be in a Zoom meeting. It's just the reality right now. So you'll meet my children. And what's keeping me sane over this, besides spending some good quality time with my family, would be playing music. So you can see in the background, which way? This way. I got 2 guitars right there. I have a nylon string and a steel string. I got my bongo. There's several other guitars over there on the floor over there. I don't know if you noticed, I have a string bass. I actually play digitally with a band. I'll send out the link when that comes out. So I'm playing the Guilford Town Band. We're doing a virtual concert because we got to keep playing. I played trumpet for 15 years. I play bass, electric bass in a rock cover band with my husband who plays drums. We have a band set up downstairs. So music's my life. My piano's right here. I'll show you another day. This is my music room. This is where I do. But this is what's keeping me busy, keeping me sane during this time of not going anywhere. So just trying to, keep my hobby up, which is a lot of fun. So I really enjoy teaching. I'm really excited to be your instructor and to learn about you and to help you through physics. And just know that you can do it. I know some of you are like, what am I doing? Or this is crazy, right? But guess what? You can do hard things, and I will help you get through it. So I hope you enjoy this video introduction. I look forward to reading your introductions and meeting you all in the classroom following next week. Have a great night, everybody.